how am I going to eat these hot dogs? You have to separate the hot dog from the bun. While you're eating the hot dog, you dip the bun in your drink. You use the dirty bun, soggy bun as your drink, and you kind of get it down. Chicken wings. I got 2 chicken wing world records. The last chicken wing world record, I did 278 wings in 12 minutes. For 2 weeks, all I ate was chicken wings. Practice stripping the meat off the bone, eating fast. 278 chicken wings. That's like 7 kilos of just meat. Yeah. I just took it as a joke. And I'm like, oh, I'm a pretty big eater. Like, I can do this, whatever. But when I went to America, first contest, I came second. I beat like 6 of the top 10 in the world. Beginner's luck. Week later, I came 4th out of 25 competitors. And then I realized the Americans, they're crazy. They treat this like sport. I thought it was just a joke. In Australia, it's a kind of a joke. People just want a free feed. America, no, there's sponsors, prize money, television, newspaper. It's crazy. My problem is, in a contest, your only tool is your drink. So you don't let go of your drink. This drink is the grail. Like, you don't let go of this thing. It's your goal. If you need to wash something down, clear out your mouth, if you're choking, all you got is your drink. So I'm programmed to hold my drink and never let it go. So I'll go to dinner with my wife. I'm holding my cup for dear life. And my arm's like pulsating. She's like, dude, relax.
Welcome back to the Out of Inches podcast, everybody. I've said this in the last round of podcast that me and Muzza has been traveling, or we just came back from traveling, and we actually came back from traveling again. From a 2.5 week trip.
2.5 weeks.
My
5 countries.
voice is a bit gone, so do apologize for that. But yeah, we came from a trip a couple of days ago. What was it? Thursday
yeah.
morning.
So 3 days.
Yeah, we were in the Middle East, Turkey, and all sorts of other countries and all sorts of time zones. So we are a bit groggy. I mean, I am. I don't know about Muzza.
Recovering.
But and today's guest, he also travels quite a bit, but for interesting reasons. I mean, we travel for business.
Business for him too.
Business for him too.
It's a unique business
for him too. But he's in the business of eating food. I mean, we all eat food. This guy, I think, overdoes it a bit. I mean, you guys everyone knows this guy. You're on TikTok, all you see, if you're scrolling and you see some guy eating ridiculous amount of food, it's him. It's him. James Webb, not the telescope, but the man that loves to eat. James, welcome to the Out of Inches podcast. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm good.
Oh, that's it. You're just good.
I'm good. Hungry, trying to behave.
You're hungry.
I'm always hungry.
Do you get hungry?
Always.
Always.
I don't know when the only time I'm not hungry is directly after filming a video.
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense. I'm happy. Do you vomit it out straight away?
It's actually a number 2 situation.
Number 2 situation.
Like I should be wearing a nappy.
Do you take laxatives?
I don't need laxatives.
You don't need laxatives?
No way. Free, good to go.
Your body's that good, huh?
That's crazy, man. So you've trained your body to process things that quickly.
I think what it is, look, if you've ever felt your stomach bottoming out on your pelvis, it's not a good time. I think your body only has certain room for a certain amount of food, right? So I think when it gets to a point, your body's like, nah, I'm out. Like, doesn't absorb anything. It's like, get out. So I think, look, I'm no scientist. I don't know. But I don't think I digest it. It just, my body can't accept it. Like when you're eating 10 kilos of food, like it's not normal. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's not normal, no.
It's not.
So you don't vomit it out. It's from number 2.
I've been sick twice.
Okay.
One from violent food poisoning. One was in a contest where I ate so many tamales, it was like in my throat and it came out of my nose.
Oh, God.
That's the only 2 times.
Man,
Jeez.
Jesus. You know what? It's on you, man.
Don't try this at home.
It's on you, man.
Try this at home.
But what made you get into this, man? Honestly, like when I follow a lot of food stuff, right? I mean, my Instagram, my TikTok is all filled with people eating food. I don't know what it is, but I love watching people eat. It's pretty warped, right?
A lot of people love it.
A lot of people love mukbangs and whatever, all those sorts of things. But you obviously take it on another level, right? I watch a lot of competitive eaters. I watch you. You probably know Eric the Electric. Stoney?
Matt Stoney.
Matt Stoney. There's a whole bunch of these guys, right? And I watch them all here and there. But what needs to go through your mind to be like, you know what, this is it. This is gonna be my thing.
Good question. So look, firstly, it's my wife's fault.
It's always
May 2021. So I don't drink alcohol, just personal preference, right? My wife wanted to go to a winery in the Hunter Valley. You know, the woman, cheese and wine, you know, that bougie thing, day out. So to bribe me to go, she knows I'm not going to drive 4 hours and just, you know, it's not going to happen. Like I get bored, I get hungry. So she planned a day trip. We live in Borkham Hills. To the Hunter Valley was 4 hours. So an hour and a half in, we stop at Cessnock, get lunch. An hour after that, we stop at the Fudge Factory, get fudge. An hour after that, we're at the Hunter Valley. By then, I'm fat and happy and she can carry on with her cheese and wine tasting tour, right? Yeah. Anyways, went to this pub in Cessnock. It's called the Khartoum Hotel, and went there for lunch. The only ethnic in Cessnock. So I walk in there, and they had this picture of a burger, and it was like the size of that T-shirt, the picture. And I kind of cracked a joke to the guy behind the counter saying, oh, it's a cool photo, like, haha. He got upset. He's like, no, that's my burger challenge. I'm like, okay. He's like, no one's ever going to eat it. 55 people have tried and failed. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no one's ever going to eat it. For me, that's like red rag to a wall. My wife's like, oh no.
The trigger.
I'm like, let's go. There's like, so you got the photo on the wall, and then there was like a thermometer kind of like cardboard thing, and it was a prize pool. Every time someone failed, you pay $80 for the burger. If you fail, the owner takes 70, puts $10 in the piggy bank. So 55 people had failed, so there was up to like $550 on this thermometer. I'm like, wait a second, you're telling me I pay $80, I get my money back if I eat it, and I get $550? He's like, yeah. I'm like, sign me up, cool. And I'm like, I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea. And then it was like on. I had to sign a waiver. There was like a dedicated table. I couldn't even sit at the table with my wife. I'm like, what's going on here? Never done a food challenge before. Cessnock, by the way, like it's like one street, tiny place. Burger comes out. He's like, you must sit. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I got to get a drink. So I was going to go to the bar and get like a Diet Coke. I went to stand up. He's like, sit down. You can't leave the table. I'm like, what is going on? Anyway, my wife went and got me some Cokes. I ate this burger in like 23 minutes, smashed the whole thing. I'm like, that was easy. Got my prize money, went to the fudge factory. Out of the $550, I spent $250 of that on fudge.
Jeez.
Just to like, because it was funny, right? Anyway, I thought nothing of it. I just carried on about my day, whatever. Went to the Hunter Valley, went home. The next day was Sunday. Sunday morning, so my grandma, my mum's side of the family is Croatian. My grandma doesn't really speak fluent English, doesn't really know what's going on. She saw me on the news. So these guys had made a video, sent it to the newspaper. The Cessnock newspaper freaked out, sent it to National 9 News. So I was on the morning show like, oh, a man from Western Sydney conquered Australia's biggest burger. My grandma, saw me on the news, rings my mum. What's James done? Why is he on the news? Is he in trouble? My mum's ringing me. I'm like, who died? It's like 8 a.m. on a Sunday. Like, leave me alone. She's like, you're on the news. I'm like, what? Turn the news on. I'm like, I'm on the news. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Anyway, so again, I just like, that's pretty awesome. Carried on with my day. By about 2 p.m. on the Sunday, my phone's blowing up. Like, I was not on social media, nothing, right? And my phone, like, people are messaging me. I'm getting all these random requests on Instagram. And then I thought this was a prank, but the 96.9, the Fitzy and Whipper radio show, their producer got in touch with me from like a random account saying, hey man, like, do you want to come into the studio tomorrow and like eat dumplings with Whipper and Fitzy? I'm like, is this a joke? Anyway, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So anyways, I told my boss I'll be late to work tomorrow, whatever. I'm like, if this is a prank, I'm going all the way to Piedmont in Sydney, like for nothing. So I looked up restaurants where to go to get breakfast, like before I went to work, because I thought, someone's having me on. Come to the studio at 6 a.m. for dumplings. I'm like, okay. Anyway, I was there, ate dumplings with Fitzy and Whipper, and we were eating like 100 dumplings each or something like that. And they did it on a Facebook live stream. Mm-hmm. And then people started messaging this Facebook live stream about like tips how to eat more and eat better and all this stuff. Anyway, one of these guys, who's now one of my best friends, by the way, he reached out to me. He goes, hey man, I was that guy that called into the radio station and said, you guys need to drink a Diet Coke and do this and do that to eat more. His name's Juan. Now we're like best buds, right? We've been to each other's weddings. Like, it's just crazy. He reached out to me and we started chatting on Instagram. He's like, man, like competitive eating is this. And I'm like, what the hell is competitive eating? And he invited me to the Facebook group. There's a whole secret society of competitive eaters. And they're all talking about this newspaper article, which is my head, right? I'm like, whoa. So me and Juan started chatting. He's like, dude, there's a burger contest on Thursday night. Like, come down. I'm like, I love burgers. Okay. Left work early, drove to Marrickville. I used to work for UFC, UFC gym. So I was in my UFC outfit, got changed in the car, went to this burger shop, and I had never seen a tripod, a microphone, a ring light, none of this, right? I go to this restaurant, I kind of sit in the corner, and then like this entourage of people comes about 20 minutes later. Content creators, I guess influencers and competitive eaters, cameras and all this. And I'm like, I thought I was here to eat a burger, right? Anyway, so this burger contest happens. I smashed it. I ate this burger in like 2.5 minutes. Juan and his now wife, they kind of sat me down and they're like, listen, you're really good at this. This is what competitive eating is all about. These are all the contests. These are all the challenges. I'm like, okay. Went home, to my wife and I'm like, listen, hey, like this competitive eating thing, it's a thing. Like, how do I make videos and how do I do all this, right? I'm like, so I did it. Had my iPhone, she bought me a tripod and I went and filmed some food challenges just as a pure joke. And it was just a joke. It was just that, right? And then COVID hit, lockdown, obviously strict lockdown laws, and we couldn't go to work. So my wife is like, you want to make some TikToks for fun? I'm like, okay. Within 3 weeks, I had like 200K followers, just eating videos, eating food in my living room. And even to this day, people are like, dude, I remember your live streams in your living room during COVID. Like, thank you. I'm like, yeah, cool. Anyway, COVID finished. Well, COVID, freedom happened. Went back to work. Within 3 weeks, I was skipping out on my lunch break, finishing work early to go make food videos at restaurants and all this stuff. And then a few contests started. I won all the Australian contests, got invited to compete in America. So I wanted to go to America. Me and my wife, we booked a trip to do some eating contests. I needed like 6 days annual leave. My boss is like, nah. My wife's like, quit. You know, like what you do and what you've done for this brand. Like you can get a job at any competitor. She's like, just quit. I'm like, okay. I'm like to my boss, I'm out.
Were
Bye.
you making money though?
I was making some, not enough to survive.
Okay.
But look, very lucky, had savings. My wife had her own business. She's like, just take a chance, let's go. We ended up turning, instead of a week in America, we stayed for 3 weeks. I left with a professional eating contract and that changed my life forever. Now, fast forward 2 years, travel the world eating. My wife sold her business. She's a stay-at-home mum. I'm here talking to you guys and I eat food for a living.
A professional eating contract.
I'm a professional eater in the Major League Eating, ranked number 4 in the whole world.
Major League Eating.
It's an actual contract.
Truthfully,
Wow.
well, look, if you look at our biggest contest, the Super Bowl, 4th of July, Nathan's hot dog eating contest. It's this year we had 50,000 people watch us live, and it was viewed 14.5 million times on ESPN.
Jeez.
I've been on ESPN, TMZ, NBC, all like major publications in America. There's a documentary coming out of me. So like it's in America, it's a sport.
What in the world?
So what started off as a joke, my wife bribed me to go to this winery, is now our life. It's crazy.
That is unreal.
That's nuts.
How fate
I know.
works.
It's wild.
But you have a solid wife.
She's a G, man. Honestly, she's a legend. Like honestly,
That's
she's the brains of the
unbelievable.
operation, man. Straight out.
It goes to show all a man really needs is a solid woman by his side and he'll go anywhere.
Man, a woman with brains is priceless.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. Truth.
It's impressive. So I'm sure you've probably explained this before to many people, but I'm keen to understand your body naturally is not built to be able to process as much food. How do you go about training yourself to get to a point where, like we all know people, we have friends, colleagues who have a stomach the size of that's their stomach. They cannot eat anything. They eat half a burger and they're out.
Yep.
How do you go from someone who does that to somebody who can eat so much without puking, without getting crazily sick? How do you actually train yourself to get to that point?
Good question. So firstly, like I said, this started off as a joke, yeah. So I was a fat kid growing up. My mum side of the family's Croatian, so my grandma, my mum, great cooks. I was always fat growing up. Like I always had food in abundance, food, family dinner. It's like when mama cooks, you stop, you eat, that's it, So I used to be a semi-pro soccer player. So I was into my sports. Even though I was a fat kid, I was always good at my sports and I love, I guess, putting my body through hell, pre-season or whatever, just to come and eat mama's lasagna, right? Like an idiot. So when I gave up soccer and I guess I found this eating thing, I just took it as a joke. And I'm like, oh, I'm a pretty big eater. Like I can do this, whatever. But when I went to America and when I got that eating contract, so my first contest, I came second. I beat like 6 of the top 10 of the world at the time. Beginner's luck. Week later, I came fourth. I came fourth out of 25 competitors. I'm like, whoa. And then I realized the Americans, they're crazy. They treat this like sport, right? It's literally a sport. Like I thought it was just a joke. In Australia, it's a kind of a joke. What we call a contest, it's not. People just want a free feed, right? America, no, there's sponsors, prize money, television, newspaper. It's crazy. And then when I got to know these guys, and I'm like, no, like these guys train for this stuff. Then I made friends with a couple of them, and they're like, listen, man, this is what you need to do to get better. I'm like, what? Truthfully, I do jaw exercises. I do stretching. I do breathing work. Practice holding my breath. I stretch my stomach. I have to practice my technique. But I learned all this over time. But because I've been in sports my whole life, I apply my, I guess, discipline, but also there's a bit, you got a few screws loose up here if you want to be elite at anything, right? Well, if you're obsessed with something, like, you're not right. You go hard, right? So when I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn how to do all this, right? So again, first it's stomach capacity. Stretch your stomach. Like you said, someone that has a stomach like this, the body's amazing. You know how you go to the gym, you lift weights to get bigger and stronger? I'm like, I just have to eat more food to eat more food. Progressive overload. Like this week I'm benching 100 kilos. Next week I'm going to try bench 102 kilos, right? All right, today I ate 2 kilos of food. Next week I'm going to try eat 2.5 kilos of food. Same concept. So truthfully, when I figured out what I need to do, I'm like, all right, buffet, let's go. And I'll just try and eat until I poop my pants. And then like over time, I can just eat way more and not poop my pants. I'm like, this is mad. Then I started competing. Like properly, I went to America to compete. And I went to Nathan's and I finished third. And again, everyone's like, dude, you're the only Aussie to ever do this. And you finished third. Like I'm all over ESPN. And I'm like, that Aussie guy. I'm like, this is mad. I need to get better. How do I catch the guy that's second, right? So my first year, I did 41 hot dogs. So by the way, in the competitive eating world, you're measured by hot dogs. 4th of July is like the grail contest. So you measure up against how many hot dogs you eat,
Hot
right?
dogs as in with the bread as well.
Yeah, hot dogs and buns.
Okay.
So the first year, I did 41 hot dogs and buns. The most ever on debut, the only person ever to finish on the podium in their first ever Nathan's. The first Australian to ever be a part of this, right? I'm like, okay, so I ate 41. The guy who came second ate 49. Like, how do I catch this guy? Anyways, come the second year, I came third again, but this time I had 47 hot dogs. The guy that came second I ate 47, he ate 50. I'm like, closing the gap, but they're still better than me. How do I get better? This year again, I ate 52 and a half. Everyone's improving, but every year on year, I'm like, okay, I've got to improve my number. So now it's jaw work. I have a ball I chew on. I have an asthma machine that helps me, like restricts my oxygen. I hold my breath. So like swimming is mad because you have to hold your breath. I do a lot of stretching, mobility work around my stomach, around my guts to loosen everything up. And also technique. Like, how am I going to eat these hot dogs? You have to separate the hot dog from the bun. While you're eating the hot dog, you dip the bun in your drink. You use the dirty bun, the soggy bun as your drink, and you kind of get it down. But it's like any contest. Chicken wings. I got 2 chicken wing world records. The last chicken wing world record, I did 278 wings in 12 minutes. For 2 weeks, all I ate was chicken wings. Practice stripping the meat off the bone, eating fast, whatever, right? But again, it's about your body tolerating. 278 chicken wings, that's like 7 kilos of just meat.
Yeah.
Don't worry about bones. Like, they measure just, so you start with a bowl and they weigh the bowl, 20 pounds. Then by the end of it, they weigh the bowl. So your bones don't count. Like, it's only the meat. I ate like 6-7 kgs of meat plus whatever drink I had. But imagine your body, like your body's like, what's going on? So if you do it leading up to the contest, your body knows what's coming. It's like a fighter. They practice being punched in the face to get used to being punched in the face, right? Same thing. A rugby player. Every day, contact. They don't just rock up to game day and not been tackled all week, right? I'm just putting my body through hell in preparation for game day to be punched in the face. That's it. But truthfully, your body can adapt. And I've taught my body now. One of my world records is 20 pounds of food in 8 minutes. That's crazy. 20 pounds. There's no way I could have done that 3 years ago. But truthfully, my full-time job is to eat and be good eating.
That is absolutely
It's
mind-blowing.
nuts.
I did not expect that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But how'd you, because at the start when you ate that big burger, thanks to your wife, you weren't trained. So where did that come from?
So that still blows my mind because to this day, right? So that was full casual. I ate the burger it was so big, you couldn't pick it up. I ate it with like a knife and fork. I was like scooping up the beetroot and stuff. I didn't know what I was doing. Actually, that attempt was 23 minutes something. I went back and did it since in 11 minutes. So I've improved heaps. But actually, I had never tried. Well, you know when you go out to dinner, you know how you said you always got that friend that eats more? I never been like, how much are you eating versus how, I never compared like how much more I eat compared to you, right? I also have never eaten to the point where I'm going to poop my pants. I'm like, so when I ate this 5 kilo burger, I'm like, that was actually pretty easy. But I never sat there, you know, as a bodybuilder, you're eating out of a container.
Yeah.
You're programmed to finish what's in front of you. No matter how big or small it is, you're programmed. I need to scoop every chunk of rice out of this bowl. Otherwise, I'm going to go hungry. I applied the same thing. I'm like, I've got to eat this burger. Like, don't worry about the time limit or the prize money. I'm like, I'm programmed to eat what's in front of me. Don't get me wrong. Like 2 hours later, I'm like, oh, what have I done? Like, I'm pretty bloated, man. You know what I mean? Had to undo my pants for the drive home. Like, that's crazy. But it didn't hit me how big that burger was until like about a couple of maybe 6 weeks later when I had done other food challenges. I'm like, how the hell did I eat that without even trying? And to this day, only one other person has ever eaten that burger. So like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. That was like, but that's what put me on the map. People are like, this guy's a freak. But I look back, I'm like, yeah, man, something's wrong. I don't know how I did it. Truthfully, like as a first challenge, that's got to be the hardest one in Australia, and I did it on my first attempt. Pretty crazy.
It's
So,
unreal.
so for us mere mortals who aren't professional eaters, you know, there are people out there who genuinely try to actually increase their intake for good reasons. Right?
Yeah.
Now, some of us have certain assumptions. One is, okay, if you drink too much at the start of your meal, then you can't eat that much. I've always thought that. If you carb load a lot at the start, so for example, like we were in Turkey, the Turks are notorious for when they start the meal off, bread and dips. By the time the meat comes around, you got no capacity left because you've just smashed the bread and dips. So you learn not to eat that. What are your tricks and tips? Not for people who want to go crazy like you, but for those of us who want to sort of increase the appetite a little bit to say, okay, well, what are some, you know, assumptions or fads people think help or may not help?
So it's actually a good question because I've done a lot of keynote speaking. I was in Canberra University Hospital 2 days ago presenting to speech pathologists and people with swallowing disorders and stuff. Exactly this thing. Bodybuilders reach out to me all the time. They're like, dude, it's off season. I can't eat this food. How do I do it, right? So actually, firstly, the easiest way to increase capacity is by eating food you enjoy. So like, you know that old saying, like you've always got room for dessert? The thing is, if I gave you a kilo of broccoli or a kilo of your favorite food, doesn't matter how full you are. You're not touching that broccoli. You're going to go for your favorite food, right? So in terms of capacity, if it's food you know you like, you'll be able to fit it in. But in terms of like I call it filling in the gaps, you eat protein first, carbohydrate second, and finish with your drink. Carbohydrates always expands. So you know how you said you got no capacity to eat the meats because you've eaten all the dips and stuff and the bread first. That's because bread expands. So once you eat it, think about it. You eat your appetizer. Maybe 30 minutes later, you're going to get into the main meal, right? But by then, the bread's like expanding in your stomach. So like in a food challenge, you always go for the proteins first, carbohydrates second, and drink as minimal as possible, right? So for your average person that wants to increase appetite, protein first, carbohydrates second, or if you're trying to like, I guess, look, like you said with the Turkish cuisine, like they always eat bread first. If you're actually trying to stretch your stomach, you literally you try and eat as much bread as you can, sit there for like 20, 30 minutes. And the thing is like, people think this is dumb, but the food can move around your body. So in a contest, you'll see us like wiggling and shaking and maneuvering because you can push the food down. So when you eat the bread and it feels like it's up here, if you stood up and like literally pushed it around, had a bit of soda, burped it out, you'll have more room to eat the meat. Like there's tricks you can do. I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm not saying you should do it at a restaurant. But truthfully, if you attack a meal with protein first, you'll always eat way more food.
So do you eat a lot every day? Is every day like even if you have like a family dinner, is that like competitive?
So the thing is, right, because now this is my job. So now, for example, contest season's just finished. I've been back in Australia 2 weeks. I don't have a contest now till middle of January, so I can chill. When I make my YouTube videos and stuff, like food challenges, it's fun. It's more about making a marketing piece. I'm not here to break records. However, because contest season, like from March until the end of November, I was competing every third week. So I'm training, always in training mode. So actually, my problem is, so in a contest, your only tool is your drink. So you don't let go of your drink. This drink is the grail. Like you don't let go of this thing. It's your gold. If you need to wash something down, clear out your mouth, if you're choking, all you got is your drink. So I'm programmed to hold my drink and never let it go. So I'll go to dinner with my wife. I'm holding my cup for dear life. And my arm's like pulsating. She's like, dude, relax. I'm like, oh yeah. Because it's just, I'm programmed to just like go hard, right? Also like in a contest, you don't really chew. You compress the food and swallow it, right? You don't really chew. So like we'll go for dinner and I'm like, and my wife's like, dude, chill. And I've got like one hand on my fork, one hand on my cup. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
Muscle
like,
memory.
Or the other way, the funniest is when like, you know, you're waiting for the meal to come and you see the waiter come across and I'm thinking, it's like 3, 2, 1, like it's contest time. And my wife's like, dude, chill the hell out. I'm like, oh yeah. The waiters look at me like I'm some weirdo. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about me. I'm good. Truthfully, I've had to like untrain myself because it's now my life. Even like when I make my YouTube videos, right? So say I eat like like today, I'm going to go eat a whole menu of a restaurant, right?
Whole menu?
Yeah, I think they got like 15 or 16 items. I'm going to go eat a whole Malaysian banquet, right? But actually with content, there's a strategy. You don't just turn up with a camera and eat food.
Yeah.
How do I make you engage with my videos? There's a strategy to how I eat it. So I set up the table, how I'm going to eat it. And in my head, I visualized. So when I go for family dinner, I'm setting up the table like it's a video. I'm like, wait, no, I don't need to do that. Like it's chill. If I grab so in a video, you never grab across your body. because you've lost the engagement. They look at your arm. You can't ever reach. You have to eat across the screen, right? Industry secrets. Anyway, so when I'm at dinner with my mom's house, for example, like food goes in the middle of a table, you kind of take it. I'm rearranging the table because I'm a lefty, and I'm like, no, wait. I can reach across. It's okay. Like there's no cameras, there's no videos, there's no contest, right? So I've had to, in social occasions, really think about it. Because now I'm so competitive. I want to be the best. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. It's probably not healthy how obsessed I am. But this is the thing. I have this, like I've got my ball. I wear it around my neck. And during contest season, I chew it every spare moment. I refuse now. I put my wedding ring around my neck because I have to untrain myself. Now it's be a civilized human being. It's Christmas time. Like be normal, right? Competitive eating James doesn't have to come out for another 8 weeks. Like chill. Honestly, like it gets like that where it consumes you, but it's because I love it so much. So I have to consciously be sensible.
You said you're gonna eat a whole Malaysian restaurant, right? That's not something to do with competitiveness, right?
Yes and no. Look, my gimmick is I can eat a lot really fast,
Yeah.
right? So restaurants now, for my content and my promotional digital marketing purposes, they use me as a virtual menu board. So think about it. Take
That's
your
what I was
average
gonna
food
ask, yeah.
blogger, right?
Yeah.
They get a table spread of food, take some cute photos, pose with the food, but don't eat it.
Yeah.
Now, anyone can touch up a photo, Photoshop this and whatever, a little reel of a pasta pull and whatever. But the truth is, everyone knows bloggers and reviewers, a lot of it's staged because I need to get the shot, the lighting, whatever. My approach is completely different. I want to make you laugh. I want to get your attention by doing something outrageous. And our restaurants have seen, because I eat the food, it shows, okay, because I literally eat, well, you give me a whole menu, I'll eat it from left to right, right? So one thing is, you guys would know this, you go out for dinner or lunch and your burger is good, your fries are cold, your wife's food is just terrible. Like they can't cook on scale because they can't manage a big order. People now, I guess, associate me with eating for a family. So if I'm going there and having a good meal, if I'm eating like 20 things and by the 10th thing, the meal still looks good, that means they can cook on scale. So people now are careful with their money. They don't want to go out and have a bad meal.
Yep.
So they know if this restaurant can feed me, they can feed your family and effectively, right? The second part to that is if you can put up with my craziness, you guys are good people. You have personality, good vibes. So think about it. A lot of people buy an emotion. You know, you could have the best food in the world, but if you're a douchebag to me, I'm never coming back. You could have mid-tier food, but you ask me how my day was, you put a smile on my face, I'm going to come back to you every single time. So I'm just trying to play on emotion, right? A, showcase the food that, hey, these guys can cook for large quantities or large portions. And B, you can have a good time at this restaurant. Because the truth is, I eat for a family and I'm just, if you can put up with me, you can put up with anyone, right? So I try and send a different message. So it's not competitive. It's just what I do. In fact, when I go out with my wife, she's so indecisive. Does she want chicken or does she want beef? I'm like, just get them both.
Yeah.
Try which one you want, I'll have the rest, right? So I just apply that. Like I just make a buffet everywhere I go now. But to be honest, it's just become my thing now. Like I'm a virtual menu board and that's my niche. No one can copy me.
Yeah, I was asking because on TikTok, every second restaurant is calling you out.
Yeah.
Hey, James Webb, James Webb, James Webb, James Webb.
So that's become a thing because, okay, look, I'm very blessed in what I do. I make a brilliant living what I do. My family, we make a brilliant living. I'm very lucky now. I don't have to go and do every food challenge or go to everyone's restaurant. And the thing is, I have to be careful how I say this, but when money exchanges hands, they think they own you.
Yep.
So listen, if you watch all my videos, I've never once said this is the best whatever, because what I think is the best is subjective to what you guys think is the best, right? So people think now because, oh, I'm paying this guy, he's going to say my food's the best. Or because I'm paying, let's say you have a kebab shop. You're paying me to come to your kebab shop. That means I'm not going to go to your kebab shop. Man, I'm just here to connect people to food. I just love eating. I'm my own person. So now what people do is they try and play on my ego. Instead of saying, oh, hey, James, we want to work with you. They're like, oh, you can't eat this. I said, okay, like I don't care. Like I don't care. I don't need to bite, right? But now it's getting to the point where, okay, look, there is a dark side to food challenges. Okay, like don't get me wrong. Like there's choking hazard. There's you can get sick. There's a side you've got to be switched on about, right? It's not just all fun and games. The fact is now what restaurants are doing because they realize. Pause for a second. What I do, it's outrageous. people think it's easy. Like you get the guy, oh, I could eat that. Come on, man. We know you're not eating that. You think you can, right? So now restaurants, they're coming up with challenges to attract people for clickbait, but they're not achievable challenges. Like no one's eating a 20-kilo burger, for example. Like it's just not happening, right? Or one I did last week, a 20-inch pizza in 2 minutes. A 20-inch pizza in 2 minutes, it's impossible. So what do? They call me out because now they're getting hatred. Yeah. No one's going to do that. Oh, and then the truth is, because I'm the number one eater in this country, I have all the records. If I can't do it, respectfully, no one can in this country. So now restaurants are calling me out because A, they don't want to pay to work with me. They're just trying to think I've got an ego problem, which I don't really care. However, and I know this sounds weird, I feel like I have a responsibility. I get a lot of messages about people wanting to get into food challenges or whatever. And now it's like, they ask me, what's a good beginner's food challenge? Or how do I tackle this food challenge? And I love this sport. It's changed my life. I'll help anyone do it. I want to help. The more competitors, the more content creators, in my opinion, the better it is for all of us, right? So now there's restaurants. Okay, there's one last week. Won't mention any names. 20-inch jumbo pizza in 2 minutes. And people are tagging me left, right, and center. I said, listen, I commented on their video saying, honestly, that's impossible. What you're asking is a top-tier eater to come, not your average person off the street. I said, that's not achievable. So what do? Instead of taking the constructive criticism and maybe adding a lot more time to the challenge or just changing the challenge, they made a call-out video. Oh, James Webb, you think it's impossible, bro, come and do it. All right, fine. I will do it because I've gotten so many messages about people wanting to do it. The last thing I want is someone to choke or someone to have a bad experience. That's not what I'm about. I want to put smiles on your faces. I don't want people to be scared of food challenges or turned off, right? So I did the pizza in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. If I did it in 2 minutes and 2 seconds, no one's coming close. That's the facts. I'm cutting all the records in half in this country. I said to the owner, I said, look, you called out 2 minutes. I did it in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. No one's coming close to that. So change your food challenge. If you want people to participate, it's all about participation. So now people are calling me out because they got hate. There's another place, a 10-kilo kebab. No one's eating a 10-kilo kebab in 30 minutes. Like that's physically impossible. Like no one, not even, if I'm ranked number 4 in the world, I guarantee that number 1 in the world can't eat a 10-kilo kebab in 30 minutes. It's impossible. But they use it for clickbait. So now it's becoming out of control because they think I'm an easy target. I just don't bite back unless it's concerning. Let's be honest. No one's trying a 10-kilo kebab. Like you would say 10 kilos, nah, not even going to bother. But a pizza, you'll be enticed to try it because, I can eat a pizza. The last thing I want is you to do your first food challenge and choke. I don't want that. So I feel like there's a responsibility on me to at least put it through its paces, right? To prove to you or whoever it can be done or it cannot be done. So that's where that call out stuff comes from.
Yeah, I guess it's a challenge to clickbait, and I think restaurants are trying to grow with it because I've seen a few restaurants out there that called you out, and you've ended up doing it, and then some of the restaurants actually like skyrocketed. Yeah.
So look, when I started doing this, in the content creation world, there's a lot of politics, like every industry, whatever. But bloggers, agencies, reviewers, they were, lack of a better term, shitting on me, talking trash about me, saying you're stupid, get out of here, what are you doing here? Restaurants, they didn't want a bar of me. Okay, cool. I'm going to go about my business. I love what I do. It's cool. But now it's come full circle and they realize what I do is the best form of marketing. It's innovative. It's cool. I'm not trying to make food look sexy. I'm trying to make you laugh. Yeah. And you catch more bees with honey. So now everyone's trying to imitate what I do. The fact is, no one can eat what I do. No one can eat what I eat. So now restaurants are like, okay, we've pissed this guy off in the past. How are we going to get his attention again? The only way is create something that I'm going to get tagged in 1 million times. The truth is, the only one that the call-out videos I've done, actually a lot of them now, they're actually fake. So restaurants will contact me saying, dude, I want you to come do my challenge, but I want to do a call-out video. I'm like, I would rather you not do it. But when ego comes into it, a lot of these places want to act like they're the man. And I'm like, please don't do that. So I've done one that was staged. And I'll never do that again. Because the thing is, for me, what I do is real. It's not fake. But again, when money changes hands, people think they own you. And they want to do, like I'm coming to their house, I have to show respect. But they think they can do it their way. Their way is not my way. Their way doesn't work for me. I did it once, never again. But from that, now other restaurants, they think they can play to ego and talk me down. I'm going to come and prove them wrong. I've blown up a few restaurants from doing this because, proving that, I can do what they say, or proving they're going to give me the money or whatever. That's not the angle I enjoy. I don't enjoy that. I just do it, like I said before, to prove it can be done. And also, don't talk trash about me. If you don't know me, don't talk about me. There's a few restaurants that get really deep into it and talk about my family. And I'm like, dude, just get out of my face. Like, if they take it too far, it's food. It's not that deep. It's food and YouTube, man. Calm the hell down. The problem is now, it's in this country, it's getting out of hand. Because I'm never around as well. I don't have time to worry about what a restaurant in Melbourne's doing. I'm in America trying to compete with the best, right? So they think that's me, like, being a wimp. No, I'm just onto bigger and better things. I just have to manage that as best I can.
Yeah, makes sense. You said that during a challenge, for example, your biggest ally, I guess, is your drink. What's your go-to drink? Is it just water, soda? You mentioned Diet Coke before. What do you work with?
So in a contest, you can't. If you want to be competitive in a contest, you don't drink bubbles because you don't have time to burp. But if it's like, for example, let's take the hot dogs. You need something sweet. So in America, they have an endless range of like sugar-free drinks, right? So in a contest, my go-to drink is sugar-free cranberry juice.
Okay.
I don't know what it is about the red artificial drinks in America, but they just disintegrate food. So if you've got a mouthful of food, you get the red drink, it just dissolves and you can swallow it. I don't know what it is about the red dye. It's lethal. It's probably illegal, but it's lethal, right? In a food challenge, look, my favorite drink is like Diet Coke, Coke Zero. Like, I live off the stuff. So in a food challenge, always Diet Coke. In a food challenge where you're eating abundance and it's for like a video where you're not trying to be a grub and get food everywhere, actually you need to burp. Say, give me like, for example, let's take today, Malaysian food, right? It's going to be about 5-6 kilos of food. There's going to be rice, there'll be noodles, there'll be meat, there'll be whatever. So you actually need the bubbles to move the food around your stomach, to burp, to create room to keep eating. Because another thing, in a contest, you're not breathing, you're definitely not talking. I'm just trying to smash more food than you guys, right? But in a YouTube video, someone will stop and talk to you, interacting with people. Like, you can't be like off. You got to be kind of like presentable. You got to be able to talk. So actually, bubbles and burping helps you push the food down. So if the food's up here and you talk to me, I can try to talk, but the voice doesn't come out. Like, you're actually blocked with food. So say I'm in a restaurant and you try, oh, dude, like, what are you doing? You see in all my videos, I always stop and talk to people. Yeah. People photobomb me and stuff. So quick sip of like diet soda, little jiggle, a little burp, and I can actually talk. Because truthfully, like, actually, when I did the study at the Canberra University, I actually can store food in my throat.
What?
It's weird, right? But I can actually store food around here, right?
Camel.
Truth. But if I try and talk, the food's probably going to come out. So, there's different scenarios call for different things.
Yeah.
But every day, Coke Zero, every day of the week.
That's unreal.
You can jiggle food around. I still don't get that, man. I'm going to try that.
Truthfully, truthfully, you can. Honestly, if you feel like it's here, just give it a little and it'll go down.
Is there like a memorable challenge that you've done? That's just your favorite, all-time favorite?
Yeah, so look, pizza is my favorite food. I love pizza.
Even after you eat so much of it?
Man, it's made me love pizza even more, right?
Favorite topping?
Pepperoni. Okay. Pepperoni hot honey is elite. Pepperoni pineapple hot honey is all time.
So
don't knock it till you try it.
Pineapple.
Don't knock it till you try it. Sweet and salty, next level good. Yeah. That's why the hot honey sauce is even better. Pepperoni pineapple hot honey. If any pizza shops are watching, thank me later, man. Trust me. It's in America. It's the latest thing. Actually, they love pepperoni mushroom hot honey. I know it's weird, but man, pepperoni pineapple, elite. But I did a 4-man challenge. You get 60 minutes to eat this, I think it's a 16-pound pizza. And I went there by myself and they thought I was crazy. I finished it with like a minute to spare. Oof. That's a lot of pizza, man. But I did it. And I just did it because they wouldn't let me. So a lot of places in America, you have to make an appointment, sign a waiver, and then go. They wouldn't let me do it by myself. I had to convince them, no, I'm all right. I'm not going to get sick. I'm sweet. And anyways, I had to argue with them to do their food challenge. I ended up paying for the pizza. I'm like, just let me do it. I want to make the video. I don't care about the prize. That was probably one of my most memorable.
What's on the waiver? What are you signing away?
So if you choke, if you get food poisoning or you get sick, or they always say health issues. So basically, say I choke on a piece of pizza. I've signed your waiver. If I choke and cark it in your restaurant, I can't sue you or my family can't sue you. Alternatively, say I eat your food and I go get food poisoning later, or I'm sick because I've eaten like a dick, right? I can't. In America, you can sue people for anyone, for anything, I should say. So they just want to make sure they can't get sued. So like, it's just basically saying you're eating this food on your own accord, and whatever happens to you, that's on you. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Everyone that I watch signs a waiver. It's like stock
It's
standard.
especially in America, it's about covering their butt, because in America, you can you look at me funny, I can sue you. Like, this is how it is in America, right? Like, you crash into someone, you're going to get sued. Like, car accidents, everyone's suing everyone for like damages.
Yeah.
Don't about insurance, like they sue everyone first, right? So, you crash into someone in the car, it's like, oh, who's your insurance company? They're like, who's your lawyer? Like, it's just different, right? So I think it's just to protect them.
Fair enough. There are a lot of people who are watching this video now looking at you and saying, look, there's no way this guy with that physique eats for a living. How on earth do you manage that balance? That's pretty crazy. Like that was the first thing we said when we came on camera. That when I saw you downstairs, I said, that cannot be this bloke, man. I was expecting some huge blown out guy.
Firstly, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I guess first and foremost, if you look at the top 10 in the world, the top 10 eaters, we've all come from a sporting background. A, because you've got to be wired differently to push yourself to these limits, right? But B, there's an element of discipline. Okay, look, I was hard into bodybuilding. Let's be honest. No, you cannot tell me to do an extra set or do my cardio or prep my meals or eat my chicken and rice and not that hamburger. Like it takes some discipline. So actually, I've always loved training. So now I just train to eat and eat to train. Some people, training is a chore. For me, I love the gym. Like, you wanted me here at 9:30. I was up at 5 o'clock so I can get to the gym and do my stuff. Like, I'm very programmed. I love, like, literally the gym is like my playground. So for me, my training comes first, my eating comes second. And I know, obviously what I do is a bit crazy. So I know, like, if I eat like a dick, I have to train. Like, it's kind of goes hand in hand. But the other side of it is, the more I train, the hungrier I get. So, because again, I'm not saying this is healthy, but I'm obsessed with, I want to be the best. I want to be that guy. So for me, it's like, okay, it's like anything. Anything you want to be good at, you have to embrace, and it has to be your lifestyle, not just another box ticked or a chore. No, this is my life. I wake up, go to the gym, I eat, I sleep. I go to the gym, I eat, I sleep. That's my life. And I've done everything in my power, my family. I'm blessed to have my support network. If I want to be the best, I have to eat, sleep, and train. For me, this is my sport now. This is my life. This is my profession. I'm currently ranked number 4. I started off being ranked number 10, number 4 now. How do I get to number 1? Eat, sleep, train. And training goes from the gym, physical training, food training, jaw training, stomach training. But truthfully, like, I do endless amount. Like, I'm in Melbourne, so I walk around because I get to explore. But that's me exercising. Train twice a day in the gym, lift weights twice a day. So, like, I'm dedicated to the cause. So, like, whilst I don't think I'm ripped, because being a bodybuilder before, I was ripped. 8-pack, craziness, veins everywhere. Now my bodybuilding friends, they think I'm fat, but they think it's cool what I do. And regular people think I'm fit. So as long as I'm somewhere in between and my wife still thinks I'm attractive, I'm cool with that. But truthfully, like, I don't see it like that anymore. For me, it's like, how do I be the best? It's a bit obsessive. It's a lot obsessive. But I love what I do, and it's changed my family's life. So being fit, I guess, it's just a byproduct of the lifestyle I'm trying to lead. And the thing is, I didn't realize this. Going to America and they treat it like a sport, you've got to think like an athlete. You don't just turn up and eat 52 hot dogs. There's training involved, but not just eating training. Like, how do you program your body to be able to hold 52 hot dogs? There's a whole, like, behind the scenes that no one sees, and it runs my life now. Like, I'm obsessed with it. So this is just what you see from being obsessed, I guess.
How old are you?
35.
35. When does retirement happen in this field of work?
Well, look, out of the top, if I'm ranked the number 1 eater in the world, he's 42. The number 2 eater in the world, he turns 40 next month. The number 3 eater in the world, 46 years old. And they've been doing it for 20 years.
Okay.
You look at some of the old school YouTubers, they're 50 plus and still doing it. The thing is, it's like anything. You want longevity, listen to your body, right? So again, you can't eat like a dick every day. So for example, came back to Australia, from Philadelphia back to Australia, dieted hard for 10 days. Trained, diet, ate like a 12-year-old girl, trying to get like my body back to normal. I come on tour for a week, I'm eating like a dick for a week. Go home on Tuesday night. Again, diet until Christmas. Then the Christmas period, I go to China after Christmas. So I won't be doing any eating stuff. It's for business stuff. So again, train hard, diet hard. And then the new year comes. I know January's going to be crazy. All my tours will start again. The marketing for summer starts again. So I kind of plan off periods. And the thing is, I know during contest season, all bets are off. I'm going to get fat. I'm going to put on weight. I'm going to be eating like a dick more often than not. But it's for the cause, right? So that's why I plan my years. So I have like on season, off season, so I can have longevity. I make sure I get my blood test every 3 months. You know, I don't take health for granted. I've got a health condition. I've got an autoimmune disease, right? So I can't mess about. To be honest, I get my cholesterols, blood sugars, calcium scores, all that checked regularly. Actually, my dentist hates me because I chew on this side and I have a receding gum on one of my teeth. And she's like, dude, you know what happens when you have to get like a skin graft? I'm like, it's not happening. I'll rather lose the tooth and get a gold chomper than get a skin graft, right? But truthfully, longevity is important. And to me, I don't want to be, look, what's the point of earning all this money if you can't enjoy it or you're not around to play with your kids or hang out with your wife, right? So to be fair, my health is number one. And I'm very lucky. I'm in a position now, if I don't want to eat today, I don't have to eat. I love what I do. But sometimes you need a break. Whether it's mentally or physically, you need to take that break. Kind of like I was explaining before. When I know I'm in a restaurant with my wife and I'm holding on my cup like this, I'm like, no. Like, dude, chill. You need a couple of days off. Relax your mind because it's stressful. It's like anything. You want to be successful at something, there's an element of stress. Not because of, I'm very lucky. It's not financial stress. I'm stressed because I'm like, how do I be better? But sometimes you got to be present with your family, especially like, bro, like my kids growing up in front of me, my wife, my mom, my dad, whatever. My dad retired. Now he's chilling. I can go hang with my dad. He's not at work anymore. So I'm like, no, I can't be this 100 miles an hour competitive eater all the time because I'm going to miss what's happening around me, right? So, man, longevity to me is everything. I want to do this forever now. My mind is made up.
It'd be a very funny chat. Explain to your kids what their dad does for a living.
Oh, she loves it, man.
Yeah?
She goes to school and like they're all like, oh, that's JWebby. And she's like, yeah, he's with me. Funny story. She's in grade 1. The start of last year, kindergarten, we had orientation day. And I walked in there, held her hand, we took a photo, whatever. I had these kids come up to me, taking photos with me. I'm like, yeah, the grade 6s, right? He's like, this little Lebanese kid, right? Full mullet, everything. Comes up to me, he's like, your daughter will be safe. I'll look after her at the playground, right? And then I'll drop her off. She kind of, she's in grade 1. She thinks it's cool to go kiss and drop. Like, I don't need you guys to come in with me. Like, it's all right, So she walks in I always wait. Drop her off, kiss and drop. I wait for her to walk in the gate. And then everyone at the gate's like, that's JWebby. And she's like, yeah, he's with me. And gives this like little strut. She loves it, man. At a contest, she wears the JWebby kit. There could be 10,000 people yelling. All I hear is this little squeal.
Yeah.
So she loves it. She doesn't quite get it. I crack jokes all the time. Like, one day you're going to be editing my videos, And then, she's 7 now. She's quite smart. She kind of gets it. She understands that when we go to a restaurant, for the most part, it's work. And she understands, like, I eat food and I'm an eater. But I don't think she understands, like, how lucky we are. Man, she's 7. She's seen more of the world at 7 years old than I had at 32. Like, I don't think she quite grasps, like, family holiday, we go to Disneyland because I'm in LA competing. So we go to Disneyland. Or I'm in Miami, so we end up going to Orlando, Florida to do Disney World. And this year alone, she's been to Disneyland and Disney World 4 times.
Jeez.
Now, that's nothing to be sneezed at. That's not only is that expensive, but that's an opportunity of a lifetime. So I don't think she quite grasps what we do as a family business yet, but I know she loves it.
Yeah.
Do you ever plan on moving to the US?
Yeah, so I've got my American visa. We do want to move eventually, but like anything, women are emotional. My wife's like, oh, what about my mom? What about this? What about that? So look, I have an O1 visa, which means as long as I'm eating and making money from my talent, we can get an American visa. So we're in no rush to move. The fact I got the visa, that's a massive, very rare, very hard for an Aussie to get an O1 visa in America unless you're like an NBA player or something, right? So we got that visa, that's the first hurdle. Now it's like, when the time is right, we will move. If we want to. The beauty is now, like with an ESTA, you can only go for 90 days. Once you go for 90 days, you got to stay home for 90 days and whatever. Now it's like the last 2 years, I've been timing my ESTA visa with my contests. making sure I don't overstay my welcome and whatever, right? So now it's like, oh, there's a contest, go. I don't need to worry about days or whatever. I can just go there, earn my money, and leave. I've been detained a few times crossing the border because like you've been in America for too long, not too long, but like if you were there for 60 days, they expect you to leave for 60 days. But I've had contests like 50 days apart or 45 days. For the most part, they don't really care. But you'll get one like security guard that's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, dude, I do eating contests. They look me up on TikTok, they let me go. But like now it's different. I have a visa. There you go, Mr. Webb, on your way. Have fun, you know? So it's in the works, but we'll see.
It's a strange world, Mazza. You could become
It
big
is.
shot for anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, in America, you can do anything and do it well
Unbelievable.
and make something of it.
The market, the consumerism over there is crazy.
The truth is that what you said, consumerism, Americans are consumers.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is, whether it's social media, food, sports, they're fanatical and they consume. So like, it's just recipe for opportunity, the way I see it.
Now, there are a lot of people in this content game, influencers, whatever it is, who are based in Australia or other parts of the world who are like, if we're not in either in the UK or the US, we don't really matter. We don't really
No one
exist.
cares about Australia.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's that big fish, little pond thing.
Yeah.
You know, you think you're somebody in Australia.
Yeah.
You go overseas to America and you realize you're literally like this. Even me, right? Look, I'm very lucky. Like I've cut my teeth pretty well in America now, but you look at the American content creators, right? Like they're walking around with like 1 million followers and it's like, yeah, that's just, I got 1 million followers, no big deal. In Australia, you say someone who got 1 million followers, oh my God, like he's that guy, right? It's just different. Like, cause with 350 million people population, there's more of everything. There's someone bigger than you, better than you, more popular than you. But in Australia, again, we're so far away. There's not many people that do content creation to a good level. It's easy to kind of be a standout. But in America, the race is rampant, man. There's so many people trying to do what you do. You've got to be unique. Otherwise, you just kind of fall back into the herd. Here, it's less. Even here now, people are like, what is it you do? I'm like, I'm a professional eater. In America, professional eater is like a thing.
Yeah.
There's like, in our league, I think there's 70 professional eaters, like contracted professional eaters, minimum 10 every contest. It's crazy. Whereas here, everyone's like, when are you going to get a real job? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm happy doing what I do.
We travel the world and we see like nobody cares about Australia
Yeah.
at all. It's like you're on this big ass island, whole bunch of delusional people here that think they have it comfortable. But honestly, nobody cares about Australia.
All they
at
know
all.
is kangaroo. Like
Yeah, we've got
They
nothing
think we got
here.
pets, kangaroos in the
Exactly.
backyard. Yeah, I get it all the time. I get it all the time. And look, I've been to Turkey. I've been to the UAE. I've been to America. I went to Germany, Hungary, Austria. They all said the same thing, right? And it's kind of funny because like all they think is Australia is this beautiful place with wild animals that are going to kill you, right? I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. All right. But that's the thing. Like there's not much. And when you travel, you see, in fact, if something happens in America, it's on our national news headlines. They don't hear anything about Australia. Like, we could have, a building fall over and they're not even going to know, right? Whereas in Australia, we're too busy worried about everybody else. We're just irrelevant in the world. I think you're sort of so far away. No one really cares, right? Like, you go to America, everyone's like, oh, Australia is beautiful. But actually, I could go to so many better places that's not 20 hours away or 30 hours away, right? So they're more worried about what they can see in front of them. Whereas in Australia, we don't really have much around us.
Yeah.
Very.
I'm keen to understand your business mind, right? So you went from bodybuilder who wasn't exactly involved in business, somebody who's working a day job, UFC, to now running your own business, being your own boss and all that kind of stuff. Talk to us about what your biggest learnings have been on the business side of all this, because that's a big part of all this, right? You can eat and do all this stuff to your body, but if you're not making money, if it's not turning over enough to support your life and everything else,
Correct.
it doesn't really work out.
For sure. And look, there's a brain in here somewhere. I've got an economics and business
Really?
degree. Yes. Studied for 6 years at university. So I studied business marketing and economics. That's what I studied. So I'm a numbers dude. I love numbers. So actually, when I got into this, it was like, okay, I analyze things, right? So yeah, that video is funny. That video is cool. That video got 1 million views. But how? So I would look at people that do what I do. What do they do well? What does this person do well? What do they do well? And kind of combine it. What do I like? Make my own brand. So when I realized, okay, editing videos, it's not about the actual edit. You've got to understand the analytics, why people are watching the video, and you edit based on the numbers. So straight away, that was my thing. Even to this day, like my wife is the creative brain. I'm like, no, we need to do based on numbers. The first 3 seconds needs to be this, the last 3 seconds needs to be that, and blah, 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 blah. And she kind of puts my gibberish into a video. We work together. She's the brains, I'm the guts, but we work together, right? When I started taking this serious, I'm like, you know what? I can actually, if I do it right, I can make something of this. Early on, I had a bunch of friends that were just competitive eaters. And the competitive eaters, they don't make content. And the content creators are not competitive eaters. I'm the only hybrid left. Matt Stoney was the first hybrid, elite, the GOAT, 16 million followers, the GOAT, right? You look at Joey Chestnut, the #1 eater in the world. He's not a content creator, but being Joey Chestnut, the American man, he's got all these brand deals. He has someone that films his videos and posts for him. And then I'm like, okay, so how do I take that and like what Matt Stoney did versus what I do versus just a normal content creator? And I kind of mashed it into this JWebby brand. So obviously I got content creation. I'm a kind of public figure, whatever. But I realized I'm more than just an eater. Hanging around with these people, a lot of content creators, they can't talk to people. They can create, they have great video editing skills, no personality. Some of the competitive eaters, great personality, have no skills. So I'm like, okay, I'm somewhere in between. I have a business mind. I've worked in business before. I'm a bit of personality because I don't take myself that serious. I can joke around and whatever. So I got that, and I got somewhat of a business brain. How do I mash it together? And that took me a lot of trial and error. Okay, so firstly, I'm like, okay, I need to be the best eater. Probably never going to happen, but it's a goal. I need to have the biggest following. Definitely not going to happen, but it's a goal, right? Somewhere in between is you work out how to amplify your eating on the video. So like I said to you before, I'll set up a table exactly how I want to eat it, and I can show how much of a good eater I am, and then the byproduct of that is a good video. So then your brand grows. But then how do you leverage that brand? So now I do a lot of keynote speaking, presentations. I have my own merch line. I'm actually starting an apparel brand, not JWebby merch, an actual apparel brand. That's why I'm going to China. So then I look at what other brands have done. You know, some eaters have done sauces, wet wipes. That's how they kind of monetize their name. But actually, I'm trying to monetize me. So what I mean by that is, if you put the eating to one side, another thing I'm known for is the way I dress. People make fun of me because of my short shorts, because I'm somewhat buff. My niche is genuinely my life. I love to eat and I love to train. So now I'm launching an apparel brand that has short shorts, baggy t-shirts, crew socks, and it's just me. I'm trying to find me as in James Webb, not JWebby. I'm just JWebby is James Webb on camera, and now I'm like, okay, what else do I do that people are interested in? So back in another life, I was a personal trainer. When I didn't want to go to university, I became a personal trainer because I'm like, I want to work in a gym. So I've been a coach for 15 years. A lot of people don't know that. I have a lot of knowledge about training and nutrition. So I'm like, okay, people come to me, dude, how do you eat like this? How do you train? What does your training look like? Whatever. I sell programs. I do programs for people. I do nutrition plans for people. I sell clothes. I do appearances, not just eating. Like I've been to kids' birthday parties. Did an event at Canberra University. Like I've done random things. So now it's like me as a person can only do so much. So now I'm getting into the tangible side, clothing. Look, eventually my dream is to have a facility where it's a gym and a restaurant and a studio. So I can have, gyms now, they ban tripods and you can't film and this and that. I'm going to have a gym that's just for social media. A gym with a freaking buffet attached to it. So now I'm thinking, all right, that's a pretty outrageous plan, right? But now I'm thinking, what can I do that's outside eating? So in the next 6 weeks, I'm going to have a full-blown apparel brand. It's basically ready to launch. I'm just waiting for my website to be finished. But now I've had to think more life after eating. Eating only gets you so far. Content creation only gets you so far. So now like my business mind is like, okay, we'll start with clothes. Another reason being in Melbourne, there's a factory, a manufacturer that does supplements and sauces. So now I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to make my own pre-work. I'm a caffeine addict. Get into my own pre-workout. Let's later down the track, right? Maybe I'm a barbecue sauce connoisseur. Everyone knows I love barbecue sauce. Restaurants I go to, if they make their own sauce, they give me boxes of it, right? So now, like, rather than representing all these brands, I'm going to make my own brand and represent myself, which is what I've done to date. I'm James. I'm JWebby. It's me. I'm just trying to do that with what I like. I love barbecue sauce. I love pre-workout. I love clothes. So that's what I'm getting into. That's my next plan for the next 5 years. The eating is always going to be there for now. But now it's like, more little businesses on the side that eventually, look, if we look at my family, God willing, I have another child. I can't pass the eating onto them. But if I can create businesses, look, obviously the Grail would be a gym. That would be awesome, like a full-blown facility for just influencers, competitive eaters, come do your thing. That would be the Grail. But if I have an apparel brand, if I have a sauce line or a supplement brand, that's something I can pass on to whoever it is. Wife, kids, cousins, whoever, right? That's my plan now. I mean, that's a bit outrageous to say, considering all I do is eat food. But that's honestly my plan.
I think it's a good plan. I mean, if you think about it, if you had a sauce from the start, hypothetically, and you take the sauce with you to your, I guess, your little competition stuff that you do.
Truth.
Right? And you put your sauce on the food, it's like, hey, buy my sauce while you're at it.
Well,
right?
I guess what hit me like a punch in the face was the amount of money I make from brand deals, the amount of ambassador deals I have where I'm the face of another brand, discount codes, marketing, advertising, for my little, in the great scheme of things, if I'm generating $1 million of sales and I get my commission, obviously it's a great gig, but I'm like, I could do that for me. And that could be my brand. And I could contact other influencers to do it for me. Now I know how it works. Not that it's hard. You just got to know what to do and where to invest your money and where to invest your time. But because I've done it for other brands, I'm like, I could probably do it for myself now. Yep. So you're right. Like using my own sauce in a video, wearing my own clothes in a video, rather than getting paid to wear someone else's clothes or use someone else's sauce. That's kind of what I'm thinking now. The other side to this is, I guess you could call it spiteful. Right? At the start, a lot of brands and people, they just talk so much trash about me. What you do is stupid. It's pathetic. How are you ever going to make money from this? Whatever. Fast forward 3 years, the amount of money I make now from brands is ridiculous. But there's also brands I refuse to work with because I remember what they said about me back in the day, right? I'm like, no. So now, look, I have a supplement deal, right? I generate a lot of income from my local supplement shop and we have a deal. There's been other supplement brands that have kind of somewhat approached me with no intention of talking business. Oh yeah, advertise our stuff. We'll send you a box. I don't need your free stuff. Like, thank you, but no thank you. But they don't take me seriously because I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not a fitness influencer, right? But the brands that do work with me, the proof is in the pudding. The sales I can generate because of my following, because I'm authentic. My life is on camera. I don't do anything, like I don't advertise Barbie dolls. What I advertise is what I either eat or what I wear or what I drink, right? I'm a caffeine addict, I'm a gym junkie, and I have a weird fashion. Truth. So now it's like, okay, I remember that brand talked shit about me, that brand talked shit about me. I'm going to make my own brand and become bigger than both those brands. That's the way I think, right? Because I'm a spiteful, I guess, guy. So that's why now I'm like, yeah, that sauce company, they weren't interested, or that supplement company didn't want a bar of me, or they saw me at, I go to, like for example, the fitness expo. I'm like the entertainment, right? There's powerlifters, bodybuilders, but then there's me eating food. And supplement companies looking me up and down like, the hell are you doing here? The fact is I got a big following in the fitness world, huge. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make my own thing and I'm going to blow both of you out of the water. That's my plan.
Reminds me of Dad.
Well, spite is a strong motivator, right? It's you find enough people that you can be spiteful towards.
Well, you get this drive. You know, people think, everyone gets upset about having haters and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I just want to prove everyone wrong. Yeah. To be fair, I never really spoke about this, but I got a health issue. It's called Guillain-Barré syndrome. So 2017, I almost died. I was paralyzed. They told me you're never going to walk again. I'm like, don't tell me I'm never going to walk again. I'm walking now. Obviously, I'm blessed to get through it, but my drive, I fell through walls, shower screens, windows, trying to learn to walk again, right? Because I'm not going to take no for an answer. It's kind of like, growing up, my parents kind of always told me, like, don't take no for an answer. Like, be tenacious. Don't give up. So now it's like, okay, if I got myself out of a sticky situation, being in a wheelchair, somewhat back to normal, now I quit my corporate job to go eat food when everyone said, like, you're stupid, you're not going to do it. I've got to where I am now. I'm like, okay, now who else is picking on me? Who else can I go after that's even bigger again? I'm always looking ahead, right? I don't care who's behind me. It's always like, who's bigger and better than me? How do I catch them and overtake them? And now I guess I'm at that point where the eating world, I'm pretty high up there. Social media world, I'm pretty high up there. Yeah, of course. But now it's like, okay, I want to diversify, take over the supplement world, the gym world, the clothing brand, whatever it is. I just want to be the best. And that's not to trash anyone or say I'm better than. There's no arrogance there, or I'm not trashing the competition. That's what I'm driven towards. If you're the best, I want to be better than you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I am better than you, but that's how you learn. In my opinion, that's how I learn, by someone bigger, better, stronger than you. That's just me.
Would you think that it's similar in America? Because like remember JT Fox?
Yeah.
I remember JT Fox. I don't know if you know him. He's a host and hosts all sorts of big shows, and he's based in America. And he came down here for the Tom Brady event, and he was hosting it, and everyone was heckling him. And there's one thing that he said. He's like, I have never seen a country that loves to chop people down as much as Australia.
Tall poppy syndrome, man.
It's he said that exact thing, right? He's like, he was gobsmacked on how Australia is. Is America the same, where they just want to keep chopping you down? Because we've faced it as well as a company.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much haters you could get for no reason. You'll never meet these people.
Yeah.
Like,
They don't know
I've
you.
never met you. Why are you hating on me?
To be honest, when I tell this exactly what you said to people in America, they don't believe me. So look, America, I believe, is one of the greatest countries in the world for a lot of reasons, but also they're all about networking. Now, for example, you know me from the gym, you know him because you know him he's got a restaurant. You will then go out of your way to introduce me to him because it's about network, and we'll have each other in our network. In Australia, it's like, no, you can't know my friend. You can't make money from him because he's my friend. Again, we're too busy chopping people off at the knees because, you could be the best at what you do, but you got a bad haircut. So I want to find something to shit on you about. Your sneakers are dirty. You wear glasses. You're this, you're that. I get it all the time. In America, it's like, how can I help you be better? I'll be honest. I met an Australian family in Dallas. They came to my contest a year ago now because they're like, oh, you're Australian. You're trying to do things overseas. Like, we want to come meet you. The first time I met them was at tamales contest. Anyways, they gave me their immigration lawyer and said, hey, you want a visa? You need to speak to this guy. He can help you. From there, they're like brothers and sisters to me now. They've introduced me to their whole network, and they're like happy to help me follow the dream, I guess. And I'm like, that's really weird. But no, the more time I spend in America, the American way, it's like I could be talking to you about something completely different. I'm an eater, I do this. But then someone that has their own company. You're thinking, how can I help them? You get nothing out of it. But you introduce me to him just to help anyone, right? American way is so different. You know what? The UAE was actually awesome too. I spent a lot of time in Dubai. Again, it's all about networking. I get it. Everyone's trying to make a buck somewhere, be the middleman or take their cut, whatever. But the fact is, the more people you have in your network, the higher you think of him. And it's all about status, right? Whereas in Australia, everyone's trying to keep everything in-house. Oh, it's all secretive. You can't know who I know. You can't know anything about me. In my opinion, it's narrow-minded. But that's where the tall poppy comes from, because it's like, you can't be better than me. How are you better than me? I refuse to believe that you're better than me. Rather than thinking, you're actually bigger and better than me. How do I learn from you? America is classic. People they realize in such a big market, if all three of us are successful, it's better for all of us. There's no point me being successful and you guys not. There's more opportunity for everyone the more success there is. And it's kind of proven if you look at the economies. Australia's going down, America's on the up and up. So I think that strategy works much better than what we're trying to do here. But again, I've been called cynical and whatever. It's just my personal opinion. It's my economics degree talking.
No, I think we
It's
both
fair enough,
agree
yeah.
because we spend a lot of time in the Middle East.
The more you travel the world, the more you realize.
It's eye-opening, right? It's very like here we have tunnel vision. You only see exactly what's past your nose. Overseas, they're more open-minded, and I think they really appreciate the word opportunity because, look, let's be honest, in Australia, we're very lucky in a lot of ways. My family was immigrants. My grandma escaped Croatia during the war. We will never have to deal with that in our lifetime, especially in a country like Australia, right? But in a place like America, it's very easy to be on the street. It's very easy to have nothing. We're very lucky in Australia. Great health system, government funding, all this stuff. It's very hard not to survive in Australia. America, do you think the government cares if you lose your job? There's no dole or pension or whatever. It's like, you can't pay your mortgage, give the keys back to the bank, go live on the street, right? So in America, they respect the hustle. They don't care what you do. As long as you're hustling, they respect you. And if they respect you, they will help you. That's the way I kind of see it. Open-minded, just want everyone to be good at what they do. And with 350 million people, so much opportunity, right?
There's
Yeah, there's a lot more money to be made there.
heaps.
But my last question to end it would be, is there like a challenge that you haven't done yet and you really want to do?
There's actually a few. In America, there's a lot of so the original Man vs. Food. I don't know if you guys know that TV show.
Yeah.
He created some really outrageous challenges, and they're in really random spots in America. So there's one in Chicago. It's like a 4-foot meatball sub. I think only 2 people have ever eaten it. I think it's like 10 pounds, but it's iconic in the Man vs. Food series that he used to make. So really, I have 3 that I want to do, and they're all Man vs. Food created challenges, but they're in such random places. So I'll get there eventually. At the moment, I'm just really enjoying what I get to do every day to day, man. I'm in Melbourne. I'm in Melbourne talking to you guys, man. Tomorrow I go home to Western Sydney, I just enjoy what I do every day.
Western Sydney. Sort of chaos over there.
I love it.
Fun life.
On that note, James, no last questions? Look, thank you so much for coming on, man. Good luck with your Malaysian hustle that you're going to do.
I've
after
definitely
this.
worked up an appetite. I appreciate it, guys.
Honestly, do you like Malaysian food?
I love Asian cuisine.
Asian cuisine's
Yeah.
amazing.
Asian cuisine is...
It's really good.
Yep.
But good luck with that. Good luck with everything. Hopefully your clothing, apparel booms and everything booms and you get a lot of success in America and all around the world. Wish you nothing but the best.
Appreciate you guys. And likewise.
Thank you
so
man.
much.
Really appreciate it. And if you guys did enjoy the podcast, give us a like, subscribe, comment. Helps us a lot. And see you guys in the next one.